Rockstar is about to hand us the biggest, most detailed open world ever built. Not just a city, but an entire state. Welcome to Leonida, a sprawling reimagining of modern-day Florida, and the playground where the whole story of GTA 6 unfolds. For over a decade, fans have dreamed about returning to Vice City. But this time, Vice City is only the beginning. Leonida stretches far beyond the neon strip, into swamps, islands, forests, and forgotten little towns, each one built with a level of detail that genuinely looks unreal. Everything we have seen points to a world that is not just bigger than anything Rockstar has made before, but denser. More interiors you can actually walk into. More reactive crowds. More systems humming underneath every street corner, beach, and back road. In this video, I am going to take you on a complete tour of that world. Every region Rockstar has shown us, what makes each one special, how alive the world feels, and just how massive this map might actually be when we finally get our hands on it. I will separate what is confirmed from what is still speculation, because we do not have the full map yet, and the internet loves to fill in the blanks. The exact size is still a mystery. But what we have seen is more than enough to get excited about. So buckle up, because we are starting where the lights are brightest and the money runs deepest. The beating heart of the entire state. Let's begin our tour in Vice City. Vice City is Rockstar's love letter to Miami, and this time it is rebuilt from the ground up as a living, breathing modern metropolis. Think Ocean Drive at golden hour. Pastel Art Deco hotels. Palm trees lining the sidewalks. Beaches packed with people soaking up the sun. The first thing that hits you is the color. That signature Vice City palette of pinks, oranges, and electric blues is back, but rendered with a realism that looks almost like a photograph. Sunsets bleed across the water, neon signs buzz to life at night, and the whole city practically glows. But this is not the 80s throwback of the original. This is Vice City in the present day. Smartphones, social media, influencers filming on the beach, modern cars, and a nightlife scene that feels ripped straight out of real Miami. The city has been dragged into 2026 and it shows everywhere you look. The density is what really sets it apart. Crowds fill the sidewalks, traffic clogs the streets, and every block feels packed with life. This is not a hollow backdrop. It is a city that seems to have somewhere to be, whether you are watching it or not. And it is huge. Vice City alone looks larger and more detailed than entire maps from previous games. Downtown high-rises, sprawling suburbs, beachfront strips, industrial docks. This is a full metropolis, not just a handful of iconic streets. But a city this size hides its best secrets indoors and up high. So let's go a little deeper into Vice City, into the details that make it feel like a place you could actually live in. One of the biggest leaps in GTA 6 is what happens when you go inside. The trailers hint at interiors you can walk straight into without a loading screen. Stores, bars, motels, apartments. The line between the streets and the buildings around them is finally starting to disappear. That change alone transforms how a city feels. When any door might open, when a convenience store or a strip club or a diner is a real space you can step into, the world stops feeling like a painted set and starts feeling like an actual place with depth behind every window. Verticality matters too. Vice City has real height, from beachfront towers to downtown high-rises. The way light reflects off glass, the way you can see the city sprawl out from up high, it all adds to the sense that this is a three-dimensional world, not just a flat street grid. Then there is the obsessive detail work Rockstar is famous for. Wet pavement after rain. Reflections in shop windows. Trash blowing down an alley. Individual pedestrians doing their own thing. The Leonida Keys are Rockstar's take on the Florida Keys, a chain of tropical islands stretching out into impossibly blue water. This is postcard territory. Sandbars, coral reefs, beachfront shacks, and long bridges connecting tiny sun-baked communities scattered across the sea. This is where the water gameplay really comes alive. Speedboats tearing across the waves, jet skis, fishing boats, and yachts anchored off the coast. If Vice City is about the streets, the Keys are about the ocean, and everything we have seen suggests boating will be a huge part of this game. The vibe out here is completely different from the city. Slower, sleepier, more dangerous in a quiet way. These are the kinds of laid-back island communities where people mind their own business, which makes them perfect for smuggling, hiding out, and the kind of business Jason and Lucia get into. The detail on the water itself is stunning. Sunlight glittering across the surface, wakes trailing behind boats, waves rolling onto the sand. Rockstar has clearly poured enormous effort into making the ocean feel real, because a huge chunk of this map is water. You can imagine the possibilities. Island hopping by boat, diving for hidden treasure, high-speed chases across open water, or just watching the sun set over the Gulf from a quiet dock. The Keys add a whole layer of freedom the series has never fully explored. From the tropical islands, the map turns wild in a very different direction. Head inland, away from the coast, and you hit something murky, green, and full of danger. Welcome to the swamps of Grass Rivers. Grass Rivers is Rockstar's version of the Everglades, and it might be the most atmospheric region on the entire map. Endless wetlands, tall reeds, murky water, and a sense of isolation you just do not get anywhere else. This is the wild, untamed heart of Leonida. The star of this region is the airboat, skimming across shallow water and cutting through the reeds. The trailers show these swamps as a genuine playground for water and wildlife, a place where the roads run out and you have to find another way through. And it is alive with animals. Alligators lurking in the water, birds taking flight, and an ecosystem that makes the swamp feel dangerous and real. Rockstar has always loved wildlife, and Grass Rivers looks like the perfect stage for it, a nature simulation hidden inside a crime game. There is a rougher human side out here too. Backwoods communities, rundown shacks, and the kind of people who live far from the law because that is exactly how they like it. It is a completely different flavor of danger from the polished threats of the city. The atmosphere is what sells it. Mist hanging over the water at dawn, the quiet broken only by insects and distant engines, that eerie stillness that makes the swamp feel like a place where anything could happen. It is beautiful and unsettling at the same time. From the flat, watery swamps, the land finally starts to rise. Because Leonida is not all beaches and wetlands. Head north and the terrain climbs into forest and hills. Let's leave the swamp behind and go up into Mount Calaga. Mount Calaga National Park is the region that reminds you Leonida is a whole state, not just a coastline. Dense forest, rolling hills, hiking trails, and rugged wilderness stretch out far from the traffic and the neon. This is where the map goes quiet and green. It is a striking change of pace. After the chaos of the city and the danger of the swamp, Mount Calaga offers scale and stillness. Towering trees, winding mountain roads, and viewpoints that let you see just how far this world really stretches into the distance. This kind of terrain opens up completely different gameplay. Off-road driving on dirt trails, motorcycles tearing through the forest, hiking and exploring on foot, maybe even hunting or camping. The wilderness is a canvas for the slower, more exploratory side of a Rockstar world. It also gives the map its verticality on a grand scale. Elevation changes, cliffs, and overlooks make the region feel dramatic to drive and to look at. Imagine a sunrise over the hills, or a high-speed chase down a twisting mountain road with nothing but trees on either side. And like every corner of Leonida, it feels lived in. Small structures, park facilities, and hidden spots tucked away in the trees suggest there is plenty to stumble across out here, far from where anyone is watching. The wilderness holds its own secrets. From the peaks of Mount Calaga, we come back down to earth, into the parts of Leonida that feel the most real and the most overlooked. The working-class towns where ordinary life grinds on. Let's visit Port Gellhorn and Ambrosia. Port Gellhorn feels like a faded, blue-collar Gulf Coast town. Industrial docks, roadside motels, gas stations, and the kind of weathered, sun-bleached streets that have seen better days. It is the opposite of Vice City glamour, and that contrast is exactly the point. These are the places that make a map feel honest. Not everyone in Leonida is rich or famous. Most people are just scraping by, and towns like Port Gellhorn capture that working-class reality with the same obsessive detail Rockstar gives to the flashy districts. Ambrosia adds yet another flavor to the mix, filling out the map with its own distinct tone, architecture, and community. Every one of these smaller areas gives Leonida more texture, more variety, and more of that sense that this is a real, complicated place with many different lives being lived at once. It is in these overlooked corners that a lot of the best moments in a Rockstar game tend to happen. A quiet diner, a lonely stretch of highway, a rundown motel on the edge of town. These are the settings that make the world feel cinematic and grounded at the same time. They also connect everything together. The highways, back roads, and small towns are the glue between the big set pieces, the spaces you pass through on long drives that make the map feel continuous and huge rather than a set of disconnected zones. Put all of these regions together and you start to grasp the sheer scale of what Rockstar is building. But a big map means nothing if it feels dead. So let's talk about what truly sets this world apart. How genuinely alive it feels. The thing that could truly set GTA 6 apart is not the size of the map. It is how alive it feels. Everything Rockstar has shown points to the most reactive open world they have ever created, where the environment responds to you and carries on with its own life. Start with the weather and the time of day. Sun-drenched afternoons, dramatic thunderstorms rolling in off the Gulf, neon nights, and misty mornings in the swamp. A dynamic sky and shifting weather completely change how a place feels from one hour to the next. Then there are the crowds. Pedestrians who film on their phones, react to what you do, and behave like individuals instead of identical clones on a loop. If Rockstar delivers on this, the streets of Vice City will feel genuinely populated in a way games have struggled with for years. Wildlife brings the natural regions to life. Alligators in the swamp, birds in the sky, fish in the water, animals in the forest. Combined with detailed physics, water that moves realistically, and destructible details, the whole world starts to behave like a real ecosystem rather than a stage. And it all runs on the next generation of Rockstar's technology, the same engine philosophy that made Red Dead Redemption 2 feel so impossibly detailed, now pushed even further on modern hardware. That foundation is why so many people believe this map could redefine what an open world is. So the world is enormous and it is alive. But the question everyone keeps asking is a simple one. Just how big is this map really, and what will there actually be to do in it? Let's tackle the scale. So how big is Leonida really? Here is the honest answer. Rockstar has not given us an official size, so anything you hear is an estimate. But based on everything shown, the consensus is that this is comfortably the largest map the series has ever had, likely bigger than GTA 5 by a wide margin. More important than raw size is density. A giant empty map is boring. What makes Leonida exciting is that every region shown so far is packed with detail and personality. Size only matters when the space is filled with things worth doing, and this world looks genuinely full. Think about the sheer variety of activities the terrain suggests. Street races through the city, boat chases across the keys, off-roading in the mountains, airboats in the swamp. Each region unlocks a different style of play, which keeps the world from ever feeling repetitive. Then layer on the classic Rockstar side content we can expect. Businesses, hobbies, minigames, hidden collectibles, random encounters, and secrets tucked into every corner. This is the connective tissue that turns a big map into a place you happily lose hundreds of hours in. And remember the long game. Whatever online world Rockstar builds on top of Leonida could keep this map evolving for the next decade, adding new content and reasons to return long after you finish the story. The map you explore at launch is only the beginning. When you add it all up, Leonida is not just big. It is varied, dense, alive, and built to last. So let's close by talking about why this map might be the single most important thing about GTA 6. Here is why the map might be the most important thing about GTA 6. In a Rockstar game, the world is not just a backdrop for the story. It is the main character. The place you live in for hundreds of hours, the space that turns a game into a second home. Leonida is Rockstar's most ambitious attempt at that yet. A whole state that swings from glittering city to tropical islands to dangerous swamp to quiet mountains, all seamlessly connected and all rendered with a level of care that borders on obsessive. That range is genuinely unprecedented. If they pull it off, this could become the new benchmark for open-world design, the map every other studio is measured against for the next 10 years, the same way GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 set the standard in their time. The bar is that high. And the beautiful thing is that a world this rich rewards every kind of player. The chaos seeker, the explorer, the role player, the person who just wants to drive around at sunset with the radio on. There is a version of Leonida for all of them waiting to be discovered. We find out if it lives up to the dream on November 19, 2026. That is when the gates finally open and we get to step into this world for ourselves, to explore every island, every swamp, every neon-soaked street on our own terms. That is the complete world of Leonida as we know it so far. Which region are you most excited to explore first, the city, the keys, the swamp, or the mountains? Tell me in the comments, and subscribe, because I am covering every reveal on the road to launch.